A lot of people go straight to stretching when their back hurts, and this can often make things worse. I'm Irvin Eisenberg, owner of Resilience Occupational Therapy, and I'm going to talk to you about the do's and don'ts of stretching and movement with back pain. Now, there's a lot of different types of back pain and causes, but we're talking about overall spasm to the low back. In general, there are a couple of things people do that I've noticed that I don't think necessarily help and could even make it worse when they have back pain. One is to stiffen up and not move at all. And that, I think, is a real problem. The next thing is to then say, well, I really need to stretch my back. So regardless of if it hurts, I'm just going to push through and do that stretch. And if you stretch your back and you're causing more pain while you're stretching it, then you are sensitizing your brain to more pain and more inflammation. If you kind of do a gentle stretch and then find where you like to stretch and really stretch that direction, you might be stretching at the end range of your back and tissues that are already tending to elongate are just being elongated more. You might not be actually loosening up the part of the back that needs to be released. Additionally, if you are stretching, you might be making your tissues afraid of the movement. So what we need to do is calm your system down and create movement when we have back pain. So one of the best things you can do is get up and walk. When you're walking, you are taking your hip bones and moving them back and forth, and that creates movement in your pelvis. And your pelvis, you've got your sacrum here, your pelvis articulates with your sacrum, and a lot of our pain is on that SI joint between the two pelvic bones and the sacrum. And if you can get some movement in there without increased pain, that will alleviate a lot of low back. So gentle walking, as long as it isn't increasing your pain, walk for a little bit and see, is this pain getting worse, better? Is it about the same? As long as it's not getting worse, I encourage you to keep walking gently. What you're doing is you're distracting yourself from the pain a little bit. If you're walking, usually you're going somewhere or doing something, and that can get your mind off the pain. If you're stretching and you're really thinking about that stretch and about your back pain, you might actually be perseverating more on the pain. So gentle movement, you're getting your mind off the pain, you're getting some mobility going, you're getting fluid in the spine moving across all the different joints of your spine and your SI joint, which is actually bringing more nutrients to the area. And you're calming your nervous system down. You're saying, hey, these movements are safe to do. See what we can do. So I like to stretch and mobilize within our safety zone, not within our end zone. These big stretches that we tend to do at our end zone might be good for improved end zone flexibility, but it's not necessarily changing our ability to fluidly move through our general activities. Quick note and shout out to the Core 360 chair, which is a chair that you can wobble on, which I like for relieving my low back pain and has really helped. You can check out other videos for that, but it has some of that undulating quality. So moving on to undulation. If you undulate, you're moving side to side or forward and back, and you're doing these small snake-like undulating motions that I think can really help warm things up. I want to talk briefly about joint mobility versus stretching. It used to be believed that runners should really stretch their hamstrings and their quadriceps before going on a run. They did a study where they had sprinters who were stretching their hamstrings before a race, and because they were stretching their hamstrings, they were able to get more distance on where their leg could be, but they were actually throwing their legs out more, and they were more likely to get hamstring tears or other injuries when they stretched before the race. You're putting yourself in your end zone unsafe position while you're throwing your leg forward, which makes you in high intensity more likely to tear. So now for runners and for factory workers and such, the idea is joint mobility, not stretching. So what is joint mobility? It's moving through sort of the safe range of motion of each joint in the body. You do that with the elbows and the wrists, and we can talk about joint mobility more in another video, but what we're talking about for the back is back mobility, gentle mobility, not huge stretches at your end range. You can hang out with those a little bit and explore them, but try not to take everything to their extreme. I don't think that's going to help most back pains. Another term that I really like is pandiculation. When you see a cat get up from its nap, it just sort of does this full body stretch. And the pandiculation is usually that sort of reflexive stretch you do while you're yawning. So you could take that, and it doesn't go all the way to its end. It's just sort of that getting the tissues sliding on their surfaces and re-educating your nervous system so that you can lubricate things and go about your day. Motion is lotion. Doing some gentle movement can really give lotion and smooth things out. So I encourage you to play with the pendiculations within a safety zone, not within this big expansive twists and such. So what not to do stretching wise. Find your end zone and just sort of push into it regardless of the pain. That's pretty much it. What to do? Gentle motion. If you're stretching, do gentle stretches, walk, move, lubricate your joints. Big takeaway, if movement feels safe and reduces pain, it's usually helping. If you want to learn more on joint mobility, pandiculation, safe ways to move, let me know in the comments. I'm always making new videos, and as specific of a video as you might want, I'm happy to put in the work to make that video to maybe meet your needs or a question that I hadn't thought of. So please leave a comment down below, and I hope you enjoyed.